In the first two parts of this series, the glaring problems of government and statism were highlighted and the power structure of the world clearly defined, as well as the firewall that needs to be rebuilt to create a vibrant society. And it is beyond apparent that a new system of societal management must be imagined, shared, implemented, and built so that the old model simply loses its power and ability to impose any force over anyone, anywhere, ever again. That is the peaceful route to a new system, and one that, when understanding the natural order of things, will only expose the old system for the worthless and draconian paradigm it is and has been all along. If they resist the people creating a new system, if they fight, oppress, attack, or blatantly lie, as they are prone to do, simply because people want to take back their individual and God-given rights, they only show themselves to be the petty tyrants they always have been. Their masks and true character will be revealed as they try to persuade the captured masses to stay on the reservation. They will propagandize them with the dangers of a world without their protection or their coveted democracy. Sounds like mafia tactics to me, doesn't it? The more people pull away, the more they will fight to hold on to power. And the more people will realize that this is a movement that is far past due its implementation. The more they fight and increase the deceptive tactics, the more we prove our point, that they are not protectors, but assailants, predators, and parasites. Letting them know they are no longer wanted or needed is the message under which the majority of people must unite, and with the strongest of conviction. Their slick rhetoric and empty promises will no longer work as the masses awaken to the nightmare that has been lurking in their subconscious their entire lives. They have lied to the public about everything since birth, and it's time to break free of this false paradigm that has enslaved humanity for more than 2 centuries now. But again, it will take effort and will to accomplish. But what are the alternatives? Apathy has led to atrophy, and atrophy leads to weakness and enslavement. It's time for humanity to get off its knees, strengthen their minds and bodies, engage with one another in a spirit of cooperation, and begin to work together as we are meant to. We do that very well, actually. Look at how smoothly business runs and operates when we are left to our own devices and efforts. It's only government outsiders sticking their noses into things that really messes things up. Almost all government intervention operates in violation of natural laws, and that always leads to chaos and others paying consequences, while the government enforcers always come out on top, unscathed and unsympathetic. And for everyone who thinks that we are somehow stuck with the government we have and that we must keep it out of some respect to tradition or nostalgia, I ask a simple why. There is nothing at all that says that any of us are obligated to any of these criminal, narcissistic, self-serving sociopaths who claim to be our representatives or leaders. Go ahead and try to find one. I'll wait. Oh, the social contract? Where is that contract? Where is your signature and agreement to abide by the millions of statutes, codes, and laws on the books? Where is it that states you are bound to stay on this reservation? Oh, I'm sure there are many codes and statutes that claim ownership over your life, liberty, and private property, but those would all be illegitimate laws, and thus make the current system one of enslavement anyway. Anything repugnant to your life, freedom, and pursuit of happiness is not legitimate and needs to be abolished. Period. The point is, there is nothing keeping us from just scrapping the garbage heap known as government we currently have and starting over with something completely new. Would you fix a broken down clunker of a car after 233 years if you could just go out and buy a brand new, shiny, clean, and modern one without all the problems? Most of what people believe about government has been indoctrinated into them from compulsory government schooling anyway. Subjective and program beliefs can change, but natural law is immutable. Once we fully understand that the current form of government is operating completely in violation of natural law, it is actually quite easy to change our beliefs about it. And in all actuality, government shouldn't be as complicated, complex, secretive, and confusing as it currently is either. Natural law is very simple to understand, and government, or the administration of public services, should be based solely on necessity and need. Natural law simply states, do no harm and take no abuse. So let's go back to telos. What is the purpose of society? I would argue that it is or should be a system that allows the individual to attain their full potential in life. Because a society in which everyone is free to seek and pursue their passions, unrestrained by anything other than natural law, is a society in which the great majority of people would absolutely thrive and live lives of abundance, interacting with those of their choosing on a voluntary and non-coercive basis. It would be a society in which education and knowledge are prized and valued. But the school system would be something completely different from what we currently think of as education. It would be a society in which crime would be very low because opportunity would be available for everyone to excel. Once people realize that it has been mostly intervention, meddling, propaganda, and extreme overreach by government and those who control the strings above it that has caused most of society's ills, they will gladly look at alternative systems. So going back to our original graphic on the world power structure, we have to begin to focus in on creating a new firewall to protect the rights of the sovereign people. Thus, we only really need to work on the three areas within that firewall: government, media, and education. The remainder of this video series will propose how to fix all three areas and create a rock-solid firewall of checks and balances to keep out anyone who would try to debauch or corrupt it. Society needs to operate within a system that allows equal opportunity for everyone, but one that doesn't guarantee equal outcomes as supposed socialist systems promise, but have always failed to deliver. Everyone is born with different skills, talents, and ambition, and society should allow for the individual to find their gifts and share them with the world in a way that helps to enrich themselves while they create value for others. This is the seed of all positive economic activity. Most of what society needs to offer this type of environment for everyone to achieve their full potential can be accomplished by a free market capitalist type system, unleashed to provide goods and services that enables everyone to do so. However, that economic model would also be one that is devoid of the cronyism and monopolistic activities that purposely destroy a competitive marketplace, and that are only enabled by a strong central statist government riddled with corruption that manipulates and destroys natural market forces. Education alone would be decoupled from government control and oversight and allowed to be taken on by companies or organizations interested in competing to teach a classical, liberal education to all children in society whose parents choose to educate them in this manner. Competition would keep tuition in check while freeing those in society with no children from funding institutions for which they derive no immediate benefit. Basically, government would have its hand taken out of most everything it currently perverts in society. And since we're on the topic for how things would be paid, let's talk about economics and the monetary system, because that is the greatest source of human enslavement ever created. First and foremost, the most important aspect to any free societal management system would be the foundation of an honest monetary and exchange system. What we have now is so corrupt and rife for abuse, it would take hours, days, and weeks to address, and I just don't have that kind of time. However, all of the supporting documentation is available on the Freedom Project 2020 website. But suffice to say, the debt-based Keynesian and Fabian socialist model under which our government and its economic policies currently operates would be completely scrapped for a more sensible model based on the natural laws of economics. So, we need to keep it simple. Money should be created and maintained as a unit of exchange, period. There should be enough in the system to allow for ease of economic operation and reasonable growth. It can be managed and maintained by a fraction of the workforce employed to keep the global system of fraud currently afloat, especially with the computing power at our disposal now. But any system moving forward needs to address this first and foremost, as it is the basis for a fair and equitable society in which the wealth gap would naturally balance out. An honest monetary system is an absolute must-have for unleashing an abundant and fair distribution of natural resources never before seen in human history. A new economic system would also allow each and every person to keep 100% of their income and pay only for what they use. Taxation is theft and a violation of natural law. Anything not able to be taken care of by an honest free market economy with a strong common law court system to keep it in check would become an area in which the Public Service Administration would take over and operate. The first and most obvious application would be the management and maintenance of the public road system. They would be paid for by a usage system, and figuring out a fair payment system would be relatively easy and something incredibly affordable for everyone to use. Taxation has always been an area of abuse and graft for government to rob the people and enrich their coffers as well as those of their puppet masters. By eliminating the idea of taxation and shifting to a contribution model based on personal usage, everyone would pay less and receive much higher quality services in return. The money saved would recycle in the economy, and the boom and bust cycle would become a thing of the past, as the manipulation of the money supply would be forbidden in this system. This is just a very basic overview of what could and ultimately should replace the current form of corrupt government, and obviously the fine details would be worked out. But again, it is our right and our duty to do so. This model would give people more freedom than they have ever experienced before in life, and many of society's problems would suddenly work themselves out once all of the violations of natural law are removed from the equation. Moving forward in this series, I'll be going into more details about how a public service administration would operate and how a natural law society would be unleashed to its fullest potential under such a system. But by eliminating the mountains of red tape, wasted time and energy currently created by a completely broken system, humanity would be well on the path towards healing and building a brighter future for everyone.